Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Helen Nganga. For the newcomers who do not know me, this is the place to be. Today we are doing confession on women. Women are going through stuff, and to what extent can you persevere that marriage? To what extent are you supposed to stay back and say my marriage will work? What about the abortion in marriages? What about the boring marriages where the romantic words do not come out of your spouses? What about those men who do not care? When you say I love you, they think you want something else. So guys, today we are talking about 3 confessions from women, from 3 women who feel like they need an advice on to what, until when, to what extent can they persevere on this. So the first woman says it's about boring in marriage. A marriage which is very boring. This woman says this may sound like nothing, but I have been thinking about how Africans, yes, Africans do not like saying I love you. Most of us do not like complimenting or motivating our lovers. Or being romantic, especially men. African men, boring. When you compare them with the white. I have been married for 10 years, and my husband is not romantic and does not show emotions. I used to ignore it, but recently I was trying to change things in the family so that our children will also learn to express love. So I told my hubby, I love you, and just looked at me like, and asked me if I wanted something. I should just say, boy, you're telling your spouse, I love you. And he's like, what do you want? What do you want? Say it. Just say, go direct to the point and say what you want. Imagine, and you are expressing your love to him. Later, I kept repeating it, and all he could say was, I know. Now there is tension between us because I said I love you, and he's like, what do you want? Every time I say I love you, he's like, what exactly do you want? Go ahead and say it. Now there is a tension in their marriage. Please give me tips to keep the marriage going because it's getting boring. It's boring. It's complaining, but for 10 years you could have done this before, during the first years of your marriage, but 10 years you have been in a boring marriage for 7 years. But the women are suffering because now when you give birth, all you care about is the welfare of your kids. Now this woman wants to spice the marriage, but the man, he does not understand the I love you language from the wife. He thinks that this woman wants something from him. So Kenyan men, not Kenyan men, African men should be romantic. Should learn from our white brothers on how to be romantic. The only thing you can do, you cannot, you do not give up. Don't give up. If he's a good man, don't give up. Continue trying. Continue trying and spicing your marriage because he might see it differently other than seeing it like you want something from him. But staying in a very boring marriage by the is hectic. Hectic. We are there, we know. And mostly that's where cheating comes in, because when you look at how other spouses are being treated, other spouses express their love for each other, you will be forced, or you might fall into temptation and cheat. So do not give up. Continue fighting for your marriage. Continue trying to spice up your marriage. But if he's a good man. If he's not, you cannot change a human being. That's what I believe. But then when you have a boring spouse, even if you are the hyper type, the romantic type, sometimes you get tired. Especially when that man abuses you or annoys you. You cannot be romantic to someone who is not romantic. You get tired when it comes to, it's a two-way traffic. You cannot offer, you cannot be the only person who is always giving, doing this, initiating. So, if he's a good man, continue, do not give up. If he's not, please make a choice. But 10 years, you cannot waste your 10 years and move out. You cannot. 10 years. Hey, where have you been? Anyway, let's move to the next woman. She says, I am pregnant with my 5th child. You're blessed. My hubby wanted me to abort, but I refused. This made him leave our home and has never returned. I don't know for how long. My mother-in-law called, meaning the guy ran to her mother. He is a mama's boy. Oi. My mom-in-law called me to insult me, asking why I do not respect my husband. She claimed I am a fool and that another child will not help us. Oi. This is not the first time he has done this. He always ran to his mother whenever we have an argument. Why? You have a problem. Oh, you have a huge problem here. I do not want to divorce him. I cannot raise 5 kids alone. And I cannot abort. Well, please advise. Being married to mama's boy is it's a lot of work. It's hectic. Because everything you do with this man, he runs to his mom. He's the only boy, by the way. He's not the only child. That's why the mother is the only person he ran to. When you see a man running to her mother every time you have an argument, do not try and abort that child. You know, the unwanted pregnancy always comes with a blessed kid. Every time you see someone who found himself or who found herself pregnant, and she didn't want or she didn't expect that baby, just look at that kid. He or she is always unique. So do not abort. What you abortion in marriage is it's kind of harder, because you are married. You are two. You made this kid. The two of you made this kid. Why would you want to terminate pregnancy? Yes, the pregnancy. Yet you are there doing something that you knew that might produce a kid. Why would you want to kill someone yet you are not killed yourself? Especially when you are married. When you are married, when two people comes together, they form a generation. So what if she dies while doing that abortion? What will you do? Will you be able to raise the 4 kids that she will have left behind? You know, some men are very insensitive and they are very inhuman, because you cannot make your wife pregnant and expect that woman to abort. You are killing your own offspring. You are killing yourself, because that kid is part of you. Abortion in marriage has moved to another level, and it's only God who can intervene, because you cannot go in bed, do what you do, then after getting the result, you want to terminate you want to reject that result. There are people out there who are praying day and night, who are crying to have those kids that you are telling your wife to kill. There are people who are not able to conceive, and your wife is there. She's blessed. Those kids will help you one day. If I was able to give birth to like 7 kids, I would, because I know the future. Those kids will look after me when I grow old, or they will bring joy in my house when I will feel lonely during my old age. So abortion in marriage, I do not advocate for that, but it's only God who will judge you, because you cannot impregnate your wife and then all of a sudden you do not want that kid that you put in there. Hey, Wait, men, women are going through hell. Anyway, women, we move to number 3. This lady, this is my last attempt to save my marriage. Last attempt. She has tried. My baby is only 6 months. We have been married for 6 years. 6 months? Baby, marriage, 6 years. We are now having our first child after trying all these years. We have been trying for 6 years. My husband has become something else. When we got married, we were happy. Then signs started. He comes home late, drunk, high. Then I saw the drugs in his stuff. This is not someone who was a drunk addict. He wasn't a drunk addict. I would never have married him. So this person was not a drug addict, and if at all he was, this woman would have not married him. I saw messages of his cheating, but I went for counseling. I have endured so much. We roll in his pocket. Weed rolls in his pocket, and some pills I know are not prescribed. He's a drug addict. Why? He has never carried the baby before. He just looks at him and smiles when he is in a good mood. 6 years. You have stayed without a kid for 6 years. I don't know what's problem, what's bothering me. I feel so lonely, sexually starved, because I cannot sleep with him because I know he sleeps with other women. Can a marriage like this be saved? So, this woman has stayed in a marriage for 6 years. And for those 6 years, they have been looking for a kid. Now God has blessed them with a kid who is 6 months old. Now the guy is a drug addict. He uses weed, he cheats, he drinks, he's always high. He has never touched that baby. Now imagine, they have been praying for kids. You know, sometimes you have been praying for something. You have fasted. You have pretended to be saved for God to bless you. And then when God comes in and gives you what you have been praying for, you start misusing what you have been praying for. Or you start neglecting that you have been praying for. What's wrong with men? But they have seen several. They do not have a kid. And when they were good, they were okay, they have prayed, they have persevered with their wives. And the moment God blesses them, they change. To their worst, they become something else. What's wrong with men? You pretend and pretend and pretend. Now this guy is on drugs, he cheats. He uses weed. He has never, for 6 months, he has never touched their kid. Hey, you could have pretended. That one, it's about, this woman wants an advice from us. She is asking whether that marriage can be saved. Hey. What? 6 years, 6 months, baby. If he is providing, I do not advocate for women to stay in, but if at all he's not abusing, sexually starved, there are so many problems that women are facing. Imagine, maybe this guy is providing, he's giving you everything in the house, but you are sexually starved. You are emotionally tortured. Hey, I would rather move and go somewhere and look for something else and try another man, because one kid, people are moving out with 4 kids, 5 kids. And women, when the moment you kneel down, God hears women. When you pray, I believe God hears women, no matter your situation. Even if you are a prostitute and the worst woman in this world, God has a favor when it comes to women. We are favored. So, because that man cannot change, if at all he's working with pills, he's doing with in front of, that one cannot change. If you cannot stay, if you cannot persevere that, move out. Because you cannot force marriages. If you for 6 years have been praying for a baby and God gave you that baby, and now instead of changing, he's becoming something else, you better move. Move, run for your life, because the next minute he will do, if he was able to pretend for those 5 years, he can pretend for some time, for another time, and then you'll get sick. When you look at these 3 women, it's an evidence enough that women are going through a lot. I don't know why you go for a woman, you persuade her, then the moment she enters your house, you start mistreating that woman. You start cheating. You start doing so many crazy things. I do not advocate for women to stay in such marriages. You cannot stay where you are not wanted. You cannot stay where you feel stressed. 24/7 you are stressed. And the moment if you want to know you are stressed, just check here. You always have a hole here. And some pimples here. Anyway, women, choose your peace. Choose your peace. And do not be scared of moving out. Let not your financial status keep you in a miserable marriage just because you're not financially stable. Plan yourself. That's why I tell women, work. Do not stay at home or do not stay idle. Save a coin for your future. If you have played your part, your role in that marriage as God requires us to do, if you have been faithful, if you have served that man enough, if you have done your part, and this thing is not working, it's not changing, this person is not changing, plan your exit. Put your finances in place. If you're not working, look for a hustle, because you cannot live stressed for the rest of your life. You have a whole life ahead of you. You cannot sacrifice your happiness because of this thing called marriage. Yes, we are married, but we have some limit. We have boundaries. And if someone crosses that boundary, it's time to move. You cannot stay somewhere you are always stressed, because women are dying of high blood pressure, diabetes, because of this stress that we get from these men. Choose your peace. You are being told to abort. You did not put that baby there. God did. You too participated in the act, and you will be the one who is going to suffer for doing that abortion. You might even die. And he will just get married to another person, because women are there. Women are out there who do not know why you will have died. For those who are in boring marriages, 10 years, you cannot waste 10 years and move out, because you have already this is a good man, because 10 years is not something small. You cannot say that, 10 years, for 10 years, if you have not suffered. The only part that he has failed is being romantic. Do your part. Start being romantic. Do not give up, because he's a good man. For 10 years you have stayed with him. He's a good man. And for the sake of your children, stay and do your part. You continue with your words. He will definitely end up calling you those romantic words that you want, but do not give up. For the woman who is dealing with a person who is a drunkard, a weed smoker, and all that, that's a dangerous zone to be. For 5 years, you have been praying for a kid. Now, someone who do not care, or an environment where love does not exist, where he cheats. When he cheats, men cheat, yes, but they do not. You're not supposed to show your wife that you are cheating. The worst mistake that you can do in this world is to show your wife that you can cheat, because she can cheat too. And you don't know the number of men out there who are dying to have that woman that you are playing with. So it's a very difficult life. To what extent can you persevere? That's what I would say. When you reach your end point, when you reach your end point, just move, because you cannot die. We have a lot to enjoy in this life. God created this life, and imagine you have stayed with that man for 6 years. What if God gives you 20 years in that marriage, 30 years, 40 years? Is that how you would want to stay or to live your life? So if it's not working, it's not working. Let's not force, because women are dying while forcing things in marriages. If it's not working, let it go, for the sake of your peace, for the sake of your kids. And do not be afraid to move out. It's better you financially suffer out there than die because of diabetes, stress, depression, all those things. So, women, let's learn to love ourselves first. Because when you love yourself, you cannot allow someone to come in and mistreat you. Anyway, that is it for today. Women, choose peace. Choose peace. And that is it for today. See you in the next video. Please, if you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. God bless you for choosing this channel. And bye-bye. See you in the next video.